Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
I see it now. This is delivered. A business process for Workday provides for initiating compensation process, which is a kind of business process definition. You see here there are some errors in this. What you see, I had a step called release compensation review statement with where is this thing. This one complete employee reward step. It is asking to add the step as it is missing currently. Now, if I edit this one, when I'm trying to add this one, I don't see that step itself in this tenant. I don't know what is wrong with this tenant, but for some reason, I don't see any complete employee reward step here at least. I don't see any complete employee reward step here at least. Type now, it's not wrong. No, these are all the only selectable options we'll be having. We cannot answer. Type what happens. Nothing will happen. You have such a radio button, nothing will happen because it's not in the drop down. Whatever that are configured at the tenant level, I think those are picking up. And then that is the reason why we are this step is guy, I'm getting out. Complete employee reward step has to be added here. Once that is added, we will be able to have that option. To have our first and since not be level or tenant level. I don't think how this tenant has configured because this was maintained by some of the agency. There are kind of different setups that they'll be having that is not configured in this tenant and with which will be. In order to fix this one, we need to come from basic tenant level, set up a compensation. We need to see what has got by standard. We need to perform that. We need to reconfigure that tenant level will need to make changes. That may resolve this thing, but that may take huge time on. Not sure whether we'll be having that control or not. I'm looking how to have that kind of control for us, and I'm looking into that one. And that is not letting us to initiate. We have created everything, but that was not letting us to initiate the merit process because of this thing. That is one thing. Probably if we have accession in your tenant also, you can just access the task called VP colon initiate compensation, the review process. You'll be seeing the actual steps, whatever we currently have, but those steps are not able to configure those steps here. That is the which is making us not to initiate the merit process yesterday. What we have done, when you initiate the process, the merit plan will be allocated to that merit plan. Whatever we are configured, we have configured that will be allocated to employee through managers. That's the part that we are intended to see yesterday after initiating that. But because of this throat block, it was not able to allow us to initiate the process. Now you remember the previous session, we were able to download the merit plan. Once we wrote out, we ran the process and we were able to see employees under some particular organization was able to have that compensation. Similarly, a studio Also, when we initiate the made up process, whatever merit plan that we have picked up will be assigned to the employees through managers. That was what we were supposed to see yesterday. But let me see some kind of underlying downstream configuration, see what we can be added to that in order to fix the issue. That is one thing I thought of updating to you. And after this, we have a flow like we have discussed what is eligibility, waiting period, and that time, pro duration role, and all, but we have not created them. We have discussed what are those, and we have not created. But let us try, to create those eligibility, waiting periods, and operation rules, and all. Before that, just to give you a kind of recap on what is eligibility. Rule is nothing, but did I share the document to you? I need to share two documents to you. Let me see, I have some, and there is this the one. This is the one that I need to share. I will probably put the PDF file also. I will find it. I will need to download it somewhere. I will find it and I will share it. Eligible. I think we discussed that. Eligible to waiting period defines the rule whether employees are eligible for a merit increase or bonus increase. And we define a rule on a single value such as high date. Workday will not include any employee in the waiting period when you initiate a merit process or bonus process. That is the main thing that we need to know. Employees who are under a waiting period are not awarded with a merit or bonus increase. When the waiting period is over, they will be able to. And when you run the merit or bonus process again after the waiting period is over to give the awards to employees in the waiting period, they will be able to get that award. Waiting period is nothing but which defines whether employees will be eligible for a merit increase or bonus increase as part of a review process that we will be having. It defines that kind of feed it. When we create it, and we will get to know what does it do on all. There is a task called create eligibility waiting period. Let's take some time. Tool 01. Base page change within 4 months. These are core configurations of which you will be doing when you are performing the review process. 4 months would be the thing and base page for months. Grade of last base page. And next we will be taking request compensation change. Request compensation change. Osman. Still, we have seen it. What is the reason for having adjustment thing? Adjustment is nothing but whenever you change anything related to compensation as part of a review process that will store in adjustment for business object. Most of the things that we'll be performing will be related to adjustment. A correct adjustment, cost of living, market adjustment, plan assignment. This is basic compensation, change adjustment kind of values that we will be selecting. Whenever you are creating eligibility rule. But based on your business request, we can choose any other one that you wanted to have. But now, when I have selected the mostly used values that will be selecting whenever we are performing any kind of adjustments. We will be waiting for you to create it. The next step that we need to create is time proration. Time proration is nothing, but this is again a one kind of rule which is used in both the bonus and merit plans and which evaluates during the merit or bonus process. Whatever the condition rules that will be living in the proration rules that will be living. These rules will be evaluated during the initiation of a merit and bonus process. The time proration rules are typically used to calculate the progress of target amount, what employee receives. And also this time proration contributes to the award pool calculation during the merit and bonus process period. Mainly, the proration criteria can be combined to calculate either the target or the pool. Everything will be based on the rule that will be defining and that will be prorated. Whatever it will be conferring as part of pool, as part of merit initiating process, will be defining this time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule task. We have a task called create time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule. We have a task called create time proration rule. We will be selecting pro rating criteria, whatever we are supposed to have. The time in plan which reviews that is defined by process start date and process end date. Whatever we will be having will be selecting time in plan or also similarly based by changes in period. We have created the earlier eligibility for waiting period. The way we have selected the base by changes in period and that will be called here. Which says the base period of time review is defined by the process period started, process period end date in our compensation review process. This rule will be used to evaluate base salary changes for participating employees during this time. Adding exclusion criteria will result in applying latest compensation basis to a longer period time or segment during the process, which will affect the resulting award. Basically, we will be based on process period end date, process period start date. We will be defining this prioritization rule based on the conditions that will be defining. That is the main purpose of having a creation rule which will be pro rating the base pay that you will be entering from the effective date. Whatever in effect today that you have defined, that will be pro rating from there. Basically, you will be creating as part of review process all this configuration will be making and then make it available for this one. Once we have this one, what we will be doing is you will be assigning this to compensation process, which we have seen. We have created a compensation process template and we will be assigning to that one. And then, we will be initiating the merit process again. Yesterday we have created one compensation process template. Most of the tasks have got changed from last release to this release yesterday. We have created all these things. When we create that, one will be assigning our plans that we have created and is able to wait and create that we have created. Everything will be creating and the sensor. There was some BPE shear for this one. This was erroring out. Once we have this compensation process created, what we will be doing is we will be whatever a proration rule that we have created. We will be testing that one. We will be hiring an employee. Have you done any hiring before getting into the compensation part of code had same? Have you done any kind of hiring employee kind of things? I have done. We will be hiring an employee that we were asking yesterday. It can hire the BP to turn the. That is different. Whatever I was talking about, that is related to hiring an employee with the waiting period. Within the waiting period, whatever we have configured, when you are hiring an employee, will be specifying hiring date and filling the position within the value that we have defined, and it will be performing a kind of post compensation, signing the compensation to that one, and it will be initiating the merit process for that employee. Yesterday you asked that can both hire and terminate it be on the same day or same event kind of things. You will ask. Not same event, it will be separate event, but the event effective date will be same. They are only on same day. Both the events can happen. I know you were asking which can happen, which can happen. I have seen most of the plant workers in the customers where I was supporting, most of the plant workers will be joining and will be really being on the same day. But earlier this was not a feature in the Workday. That is what I have got recently introduced that higher date and can be equal to down date. We even we were seeing a lot of issues on this from last couple of years. We were seeing a lot of employees on the higher day getting terminated and again joining organizations where we were seeing some kind of country service date issues with those three countries. We were seeing this issue, this kind of things happening many months ago also. You were able to find this thing. Now, we will hire one employee within the waiting period. I know we will see how that works. I have a Melissa's organization. we will see what kind of open positions are there. Generally, we will be going to the staffing position where it will be having all the open positions created under the organization. We will be having all the positions under the organization and go to any of the position. A hire employee or happen. We are creating a new pre-hire. In case you want contact information on the action of an area to hire an employee. And when we have created this eligibility, this thing, we will be able to create a new pre-hire. We will be able to create a new pre-hire. We will be able to create a new pre-hire. We will be able to create a new pre-hire for the data that we have given when we are creating this preparation tools. Was it seen? We are hiring an employee within the waiting period. Within the waiting period, 120, 120, and 8. And 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. And new height. We will be able to create a new pre-height. We will be able to create a new pre-height. We will be able to create a new pre-height. We have hired an employee. With the position that we have looked for, we hired an employee and hiring as completed for this one. And David Cooper. David Cooper has become an employee now. We will be able to create a new pre-height. We will be able to create a new pre-height. I am trying to set the compensation event for that particular. This has to be a business process. I think someone has changed the business process. That a company should be able to assign the compensation for the employee. Someone has modified the BP. That is the reason why it has not triggered that step. But basically, generally, we are doing hiring process. Suppose compensation step has to come for a comfort administrator. Let me go to this employee and see. I think someone has removed those steps. Basically here, and we will be having the one more step called proposed compensation, and I think someone has modified the BP removal and those things. There is a reason why whenever we hire an employee, a proposed compensation step has to trigger and compensation administrator has to assign the compensation. Someone has modified this one, and there is a reason why we have not undergone that step. Basically, you will be assigning the compensation for this employee, and you will be giving the compensation for that one. This is what I am going to stand. There are two employees with the same name, I believe. That is the reason why it is showing employee with a different organization. I am getting into organization. We showed you a bit of our corporate earlier. It was showing Julie Bowles, but Melissa is the manager. If we would have got that proposed compensation business process while hiring only, we would have assigned that compensation. Since that step has not triggered, the compensation is not assigned for this employee. See, everything is blank here. Generally, if you get a kind of request for any kind of compensation, change the same process you need to do. If you get for multiple employees, there is a concept called EIB. You will be dumping all the data in the TIB and you will be loading the TIB. But if it is one or two employees, you will be doing manually like this. You will be going to the task and you will be getting into that one all. We will be going through the 2nd of September. If you have created all these things, we are discussing about our regular compensation. We will discuss all these things. Let me do the same in compensation. And if you wanted to have any kind of hourly alliance also, you can mention, why is this not getting a reflection? This is taking a lot of time to upload. Let's load it. If you are compensating, you will be able to perform anything. Let me employer compensation. Something is missed here. It isn't required to click on button. I'm sorry. Pass. This performs a kind of business process routing policy. Whenever any change happens, companies had been scheduled will be getting a task to approach this one. If you are provided with the relevant access of this thing, you will be getting a task to perform this thing. We will be getting a kind of notification. We will be getting a kind of approval button here to take a mid detection to approach the compensation change that will be performing. I think this has some kind of PPE. Once the compensation proposed is made, we will be doing a kind of job change. I have done any kind of job changes where when you perform a job change, a compensation will be changed as part of job change, and we will be proposing a new compensation for that employee as part of job change, and will be giving a kind of new compensation. Job changes are done. Job code change is done. That is the job change as eligibility rule which has been changed. When it is changed job, everything will get changed. Job code will get changed, and whatever in a new job code that you are taking, whatever eligible to rule that new job code has, that will come into to picture. Everything will change. What I am saying, it has already in eligibility rule. They already have tied comp. We do not like comp specifically. We just change their job code, and that job code has eligibility rule tag. One of the eligibility rule is around comp. It is completely based on. I have no idea if I see this many times for you. If you go to BP job change, that is not coming. Well, today is the time to look. Whenever something you wanted to make changes, you said you want to have a comp. You have to make a job change. Here is the business process generally. Generally, whenever you are making a job change, however you want it to have, you can configure your job change. And generally because job change is happening, definitely a kind of new comp. It has to be proposed even though you are selecting a new job. There will be already new, compensation grade will be specified, but actual compensation has to be configured. Actual compensation package for new job profile. What would be the compensation package? What would be the compensation grade that has to be picked up? Job profile will be configuring only compensation grade. When you are performing a kind of promotion plan to the new position where you are moving the employee, that employee should be associated with new compensation package, because everything as part of the compensation, everything is going to change as part of promotion. Now we need to assign the new compensation package, as compensation grade will be automatically, if you select the new job profile which is associated with the compensation grade, that will automatically come. Compensation package has to be selected, and compensation grade is an option based on your compensation package that will be auto-populated. Now, this processor, whenever you are performing a job change process, you will be initiating that, and it will be going for manager, and manager will be the after manager winner. Takes an action. It will be routed to HR administrator and performs a job change review. What kind of job change that employee is going? Whether it is just a manager change or job title change or job profile change, everything or this. HR administrator is going to review this one. And after this one, a compensation change kind of step in will be coming to HR administrator will be proposing a compensation change. Once the change has been assigned, you will be HR administrator will be initiating the new compensation package grade, and all that will be automatically available. Once the organization is selected with a new compensation pad and all, and once the result, HR design management activity will be triggered, and after that the change will be completely completed. The job will be completed successfully. This is how you will be defining a business process which you will configure, which you will take an action during the promoting or hiring an employee. This will be different from organization to organization, and the configuration will be based on the job change policy that they have, what action to be performed, and when employee is undergoing kind of promotions and all. When you are promoting an employee, basically you will be defining the new compensation package. Probably you would be undergoing a different business process, which you will be seeing that will be completely based on the steps that are defined here. But the common thing is definitely need to have compensation package assigned to that employee. That will come from job code, but package you have to assign as part of the new position. You will be assigning that package to employee. That is one thing you will be performing during hiring an employee or promoting an employee as part of a compensation change review process. That is one thing you will be considering during hiring process. Now tell me one thing. I will ask some of the question based on the task that we have done. Now in the month of January, the employee base pay was around $1 lakh US dollars. And in June, the employee pay increased to $1 lakh $10,000. And the business wanted to calculate the merit based on both the increases, like 1 lakh and 110, which probation rule option you will pick based on both the base pay amounts. When business forms your calculate, we have a probation rule like a base pay, change in period, a leave of absence, high rate FTE, changes in period. We have some kind of probation rules. If employee is joining employee, base pay was 1 lakh in January, and in June that got increased to 1,000. If the business wants to calculate the merit based on both the 1 lakh and 1 lakh 10,000 amounts, which probation rule you will pick up on this too. Is it a base pay change in period or high rate or FT changes in period? Yes, base pay changes in period, because base pay is getting changed with the probation rate or whatever the term, like Jan to June, whatever in other term that is there. Based on this period, the base pay change in period is getting calculated, and accordingly, the new company is coming into picture. And if you have merit plan with multiple plan profiles and you flag the subject of statutory minimum box on the plan, and you will need to assign a statutory minimum for everyone in the process. Is this what your organization is following, or is anything that they will be doing? If there is any merit plan with multiple plan profiles that are going and they are assigning this to minimum for everyone in the process. No, they are assigning a range. From mine on the business process is from org, or there will be different kind of requirements which will be setting up. And also I think during this process you will be also seeing some kind of merit plans that they are resigned with, and with the compensation matrix kind of structure that they will be undergoing. Since you are not aware of compensation matrix, you will be not recognizing that. They will be undergoing with multiple plan profiles with compensation matrix, base pay, change in period kind of rules and all. They will be defining core compensation, will be performing these jobs. That is how you typically manage when hiring an employee. When promoting an employee, defining a compensation change for them. That is one thing you have to know whenever you are part of configuration team. You will be dealing with these kind of things. And probably no tomorrow, we'll start with the new concept with like one kind of what you see bonus plan and the process that will be maintaining for bonus plan and how to assign a bonus plan. And when employee is eligible for a one-time plan, How do you pick that one-time plan and assign it to employee? We'll be creating some bonus plans, and we will see when we are hiring an employee or when randomly for existing employee how to initiate the bonus plan and all will be seen. And we will try to know more about the bonus information tomorrow. Till now, we have seen something related to compensation. Whenever in a compensation has to be changed, what kind of things that has to be followed when hiring an employee and promoting employee, or when changing, you know what kind of provision rule that you will be seeing on. All of you have seen, and initiating the process is only thing that we have missed because as a VP, but probably, I will try to reconfigure and type thing, based on my official tenant and see, if that replicates the issue, and we will be able to initiate them. And then the merit process is the main activity. Whatever you have configured in shape method, process will be taking this to manager and will be assigning this to employees as part of review process. There is a main thing that I wanted you to look at, but you have this tenant has some kind of performance issues with me fixed, that configuration part, and probably then I will try to show you that in shape method process activity as well. Bonus activities, bonus related stuff. Now I will try to create a bonus plan and will try to roll out this bonus plan and see, let's say if we are rolling out to any other organization, how many employees have got assigned to this bonus plan, and we'll try to validate this thing. Before that, we need to create a bonus plan. We have created an alliance plan. We are not going to spend, but we'll create a bonus plan now. The task is we'll be creating a simple bonus plan for one of the supervisory organization, and in order to test this one, we'll be assigning this bonus plan to that specific organization for what we've created. There's a kind of scenario. Anything, if we wanted to go with the standard, we can go with the standard. Amount based plan you can go, or else percentage based plan. You can also go with percentage based plan. A compensation statement. If you're talking about bonus, it should be under incentive. Progression rule is nothing but which would be calculated based on the time period. I think we have created one progression rule. I'll take the same book, the time progression rule we have taken, which we have created in our last session. Plan eligibility is nothing but to whom you're assigning this bonus you wanted to. I'll take one of the organization before that. Let me see who are all the employees under that organization are there. We wanted to assign this to bunch of employees. We have 3 employees here under malicious organization. We'll assign this to these 3 employees. Some assigning eligibility rule as the supervisor organization. This is the selection list. I've taken the organization which I was seeing. There are 3 employees under that organization. I've taken that organization attached to the eligibility rule and adding this to bonus plan that I'm creating. I've created one eligibility rule with the bonus plan. And now we need to assign this bonus to specific supervisor organization. Now we have a process like take any plan, be it bonus, be it merit, be it stock, be it any kind of plan that you have defined. If you wanted to assign this to any kind of organization, you have to go with the same process. At first, you need to have a plan ready and then have an eligibility rule ready, which group you know. You wanted to have this plan to be applicable. You'll be specifying that in eligibility rule and add that eligible detail in your plan when you're creating and then go for rolling out that plan to employees. There is a task called rollout plan to employees. That reminds me, you were supposed to send me a couple of PDFs. Yes, I think I've extracted here only. One is, I remember the task related thing. What is the other one? Notes of the second. What is the plan name that we've created here? win plan, home plan, bonus plan, which we have created effective date. This is the organization that we have created. This is the bonus plan that we have created for the organizations. It's now the moment we click on this one. Assignment will be initiated and this will start processing the bonus plan. Assignments to employees who are part of the organizations will be applied with this bonus plan. Whatever we've created, that's our unit. Typically, any benefit plan, any bonus plan, or any compensation plan that you've created, if you wanted to assign this to team members or organization, we'll be creating an view compensation rollout plan where we can view to whom your compensation plan has been rolled out. Now see, you see here employees receiving compensation plan, employees not receiving compensation plan. You are seeing two employees who are receiving compensation plan. These are the two employees who received this plan, and we will see who employees have not received and why they have not received. That is how you will be. I think we have done this for one of the plan earlier. I think it is a merit plan. I believe for merit plan, we did the same process, but the eligibility rule and the organization was different. If you see here, for employees for whom you know this plan has not assigned employee names, you have seen and the position they have seen. And the reason why this has not got initiated to them is compensation change for David Nicole and compensation change for this guy are in process. In pending, you know their compensation changes are currently in pending stage. That is the reason why these bonus plans that we have created and initiated is not assigned to them. If there is no pending business process related to compensation, these employees would have also got this bonus plan initiation that we have made. Clear? Any questions, Madit? No, I think it is. Birthdays, in a way, it is all tasks and this thing. Yes, everything is related to tasks only. There is no kind of, complex navigation that you need to direct and get into that downstream page. Everything is task related only. The one you enter in search bar, it will return. That is about assigning anything related to plans. Any plan, be it bonus, be it merit, be it stock, be it any kind of alliance plan, anything you wanted to get initiated, you will be creating that and preparing an eligibility rule. Eligibility rule is a kind of important one. If you wanted to have it specific for this group, that is important, which you can assign that to specific organizations or specific group of people and all. If you are not giving any kind of eligibility rule, which means that you know this bonus plan should be applicable for all the across all the organization. You wanted to have this. But if you wanted to have it to specific for your own organization, you can have that mentioned and triggered. This is one of the way that they will be carrying out all the plans to employees. And in such a way you can do for any other business, any other plan. Now kind of question. What type of bonus plans can be created? One is amount, the other one is unit, the other one is matrix, and the other one is percentage. Amount, unit, matrix, and percentage. Among this, which can be created, amount, unit, matrix, and percent. Among all these, what type of bonus plans can be created with this? We already have percent. I know percent is there, but technically all can be, amount can be created. When you're creating bonus plan, you can create them only these with these 2% amount. Remember, when you're creating bonus plans, there was a pop-up with a radio buttons which is asking percentage based and amount based. And when initiating the bonus process, what all you can include? You can include which of the following? Like when I say following one is promotion, the other one is talk abouts, the other one is talent succession plan. Assessment, assessment, talent assessment, and which among this you can assign when you wanted to initiate a bonus process. Exceptions that remove, stock over exceptions that remove. You can do stock about, you can do exceptions. Yes, talk about is one thing you know which you can do. And the other two are out of the compensation initiation process. Matrix talent. This is, remove employees from the process is not, you will consider when you're initiating bonus plan. This is when you wanted to do a kind of eligibility rule. There you'll be seeing that excluding employees from the process. That you will be doing as part of eligibility rule, but not during initiating the bonus process. That covers, bonus initiating, the bonus process and all. And generally, you have to keep one thing in mind like a Workday bonus plan can include the option to pull in factors such as employee performance, company performance in the calculation and are a kind of guidance for the manager entering the awards to the direct reports. These are the three factors that will be considered. Primary thing is employee and the company performance. Another thing is managing involvement in entering the award to the direct reports based on these, whatever you say, performance kind of factors that can be considered. And all these are the three things, that can be considered while I'm going with initiating the bonus process or any other process. And now kind of compensation matrix, we can also create, and there is a task, which will be asking about all the weighted items of related compensation and rating scale. You'll not specifically use it anywhere, but we'll create that and see how it works. Generally, the business case for this kind of activities would be we'll be creating the weighted matrix to be added to the bonus plan. And the matrix is based on the employee management level and the performance review, where it can be used in the process to calculate the bonus plan and individual employee targets, kind of things which you can consider when you're creating the bonus plan. Now, let's create one of the compensation matrix and see what all the options there are there. These are all the tasks which will be helpful for you when you're doing core configuration related to advanced. These are all the tasks which will allow you to select the group of employees or select the group of the plans or select the kind of criteria that you wanted to assign a plan to employees. If you're aware of these tasks and we have handling those tasks, then that's all you require to perform for advanced compensation stuff. Now create compensation. Matrix is the task. Here you'll be specifying this thing for unsatisfactory. What is the kind of thing that you need to give? And for top performance, what kind of person did that? You need to give all those things you know you'll be defining in compensation matrix task, which you're seeing here. I don't want it to give any percentage for unsatisfactory or needs improvement meets expectations. I want it to give kind of 90%. There will be kind of ratings every as per every organization standards. If your rating is 3, which is meeting this thing, will be giving 90%, and if it is 4, exceeds a kind of expectations, will be giving it as 100. And if it is 5 outstanding performance, will be giving it as. For placement issue, we'll give it as 100 for promotions. We'll give it as 105 because employee is getting promoted. We'll be giving it as 105. Same here. With high potential, with 4 exceeding expectations, we'll keep it as 110. Outstanding appropriations. If employee is promoting with this rating, it is 120 and high potential, we will give it as 125. This is how, if someone asks you to do a kind of matrix configuration related to compensation based on performance factors, this is the task. Create compensation matrix is the task that you need to consider and have it all the you know matrix to be created for each of the you know kind of performance factors that we are having, and you will be setting up like this. The task that you can choose is create compensation matrix is the task. Perfect. Any questions? No, not far. We are, doing any kind of bonus plan with performance factors configurations. You need to keep in mind that when setting up your compensation process to include compensation matrix. Whatever we have created now, the merit, stock, and bonus plans can call using a compensation matrix to provide guidance to the planner. Who is a planner generally? Generally, manager will be a kind of planner who will be assigning you the bonus plan or whatever the compensation plans as part of review process. Manager is the person who will be performing all the rating process and will be assigning that to team member. If you are using any kind of rating scale, either in the compensation matrix or the Performance tab of the grid, the performance review must be completed to pull the information. That is one thing you need to know, and you can pull into the grid performance ratings for in-progress performance reviews by including the read-only field called Custom Performance Current Performance Rating, which is a kind of common field to include in the compensation column of the grid. It will mostly provide you the recently completed or in-progress performance review of the employee. That is one thing generally you need to consider whenever you are creating or assigning bonus plan to performance factors. Attitude, and if you are already completed with performance reviews but your compensation review process is not pulling the information to the grid, it may be like because of the date that it is not picking the value. The performance review has a period end and date similar to the compensation review process period end date, and the performance review end date must fall within the compensation review process period. Then only you will be seeing the value getting picked up. That is one thing that you will be generally every administrator who will be doing, will be considering all this, the configuration part or not, when you are creating compensation matrix part. That is one thing this is a kind of straightforward thing. Defining compensation matrix with the different performance factors is a kind of a straightforward activity which you can do when you initiate the merit process, and based on that, it will be allocated to team member. What was the task name? Once again, create compensation matrix is the task, where you will be having all the performance factors at tenant level. Whatever it would be based on your organization tenant level configurations, whatever ratings that are linked to performance module are configured there, which you can use it for having compensation matrix for that one. And is there a task to view existing comp matrix or the older? See all those, whatever exists, those are available in compensation matrix. Whatever are available, you will be able to see that. I just looked up. I don't have create comp matrix for sure. It's not even available. You are not able to access the task or no, the task is not visible to me. Oh, then I think you're not a kind of security group configured for you. You don't have proxy access as well. In non-production, I have not in production. It's turned off. Then you can go to the non-production proxy as one of the comp administrator, and you should be able to manage all these tasks. In non-production, I can do anything I want. Production, I think at this moment, don't try to do any kind of changes. Once you are confident in performing those configurations in sandbox and implementation, then at least in sales stage, you can check with the one of your manager that you're going to make this change in production. Will it be with the process that they use to manage every no comp process and or one. At the end, you get some final understanding in non-production tenant. Don't get that into production tenant, and even if you're doing in production, get someone in a monitor your changes that if anything. No, in production, I will never be doing yes per my role. Plus they have like a Splunk deployed. It tells where each user is clicking. Oh, then if you're not having access in production tenant, how do you have in non-production tenant? A generally non-production tenant, where do we proxy? Proxy is there. I can proxy admin, I can proxy any more. Oh, fine then. That should be then. And similarly, you can, whenever you wanted to go with compensation matters, you have to maintain the same what we've created and according to whatever we have seen like compensation matrix. Similarly, there is a concept called scorecard kind of things, which you can create them, ma'am, and we'll create one sample scorecard and see how we can add this scorecard to the bonus plan. I did the bonus plan that we have created. I did the bonus plan. This is the one that we've created. I did this one. But I wanted to ask you, is there a way that two games? What is this Splunk? A Splunk is like a software which you can use it with Workday and it tells where a user it tells. Basically, we use the user activity. If I click wherever, I click on the instance and instance. Now you're asking whether we can manage this Splunk. Is that your question? I mean, I was curious because even I don't have X. I mean, I don't know how it does it. Basically, it will tell you that Mood is logged into a system with it looked up to Amit and with looked up to Amit's com. It helps with this level of retail. Basically, even in Workday also we can do that. Not sure why they've gone for additional software in Workday. We have a kind of data source called user activity. You can report all the changes, all the activities on a user who is performing in Workday. Any transaction that user is performing, there is a task called read. This report. You have a data source called user activity. Whatever your Splunk is doing. This is data source will be doing the same. The data source user activity returns one row for each activity. They just will show the task in business process user has executed. What task that user has gone, compensation using rate, whatever user has gone into this. This data source will return first 5,000 results filtering your perform after workday searches. The data source will only act on until 5,000 results done by the search based on employee logging activity. Whatever employees are doing in the tenant, he has logged in, logged out, and where he is going to perform those things and all. All those things will be tracked and first 5,000 rows of the things will be returned. And basically what we used to do with the previous customer is we used to schedule this report every day. And it used to run 2 times and it used to send to data management team. They will be looking at the thing and will identify which employee is going to which profile other than their profile and they don't viewing any kind of sensitive information related to personal compensation rate to payroll. All these things will be noting and will be sending a kind of warning letters to employees. They should not be repeating kind of things in an email. HR will be sending. I think your Splunk also should be doing the same. It will be tracking with the screenshots which profile or which object in compensation the other employee has been monitoring or watching, kind of thing. You can do it. You can do that within Workday also. Now I've edited the compensation. One company funding scorecard. Let's take any of the existing one. Should have created in our last session and rounding rule. Generally we'll do that running part. What happened? Rounding up nearest to 1. This would be when there is a different decimals that will be operating on the bonus plan. This will be rounding to nearest to 1 value which will be executing. Performance factors. I'm going to plan with the multiple factors. Compensation. Whatever, you know that for that particular matrix that we've created, we can select that compensation matrix. Typically, the reason why I'm editing the business processes be a bonus plan is you can add the funding plan and also you can also assign the compensation matrix that you have created earlier. All those things you can assign to the benefit plan, bonus plans. Sorry, bonus plan and benefit plan or similar terms. Compensation funding scorecard. Just one. Performance factors. Whatever matrix that we've created, what is the matrix that we have created? It's generally those methods you know. You can call it here and you can specify whatever you know that you'll be choosing here and come in. And give us scorecard information also. To total weight, whatever you have given here, 50-50, that will be calculated 100% and it will be going with the 100% percentage and will be initiating to the, whenever you are initiating this thing, that will be assigned to employee. That's how we typically had scorecard and compensation matrix, whatever you have configured with the rating that you will be assigning to the bonus plan that you have created. If created, that's how we typically follow that thing. Not only the bonus, in essence, we have taken today bonus, we were seeing this one, but generally anything other than bonus plan. Next, stock merit alloys. You know, a salary, hourly, anything you know if you wanted to go with. You can select them and you can perform them. Maintain stock grants is nothing but nowhere you can see. Workday delivers a kind of long-term cash options and stock grant categories which in every organization will be following. And the long-term cash grant categories used as an alternative for long-term incentive. Mostly every organization will be having this kind of long-term incentive kind of stock option outside of equity. And stock options give employees the to buy a number of shares at a price fixed and a grant for a defined number of years into the future. Options can be there is another stock option code, we call it as an options, performance and options. There are two kinds of stocks. Options can be given to any employee under whatever rules that the company creates, with the limited expectations in various countries. And there is one more stock option called restricted stock. Restricted stock and restricted stock units they provide to employees where they have to acquire or receive shares by gift or purchases once certain restrictions are met. When restricted stocks, the employer wanted to allocate an employee some kind of restrictions based on number of years, based on number of working hours, and based on job grade, job position, kind of restrictions, compensation, team policy would be defining. And as per the term, this restricted stock will be assigned to the employee. These are kind of stock grants in which you will be configuring all those items here. You will be creating a stock grant type and will be configuring whatever you need to call it into your, whenever you're creating a plan, you'll be calling a kind of stock plan. We'll just create one as a restricted one. This is a free text because every employer will be having their own stock plans. Whatever you're seeing here, we know that has been used by Workday in system. Since we have created now, this is not being used anywhere. Now, once we have a stock grant ready, we'll create a stock plan now. The same task we have with the name called create stock plan, like how we used to have create alliance plan, create merit plan, create stock plan. Any of the plan like we have. If a kind of based on target amount you wanted to have a plan, you can, and if it is a part of percentage in your compensation based pay, you can select. And when you need based plan, we'll select unit based. Let's select unit based since we have created amount and percentage in our real plans when we created. Let's create unit based. We'll see what all the options that will be available for a unit based plan. We have created the other day, which is configured with the organization. One of the organizations have taken the same kind of eligibility rule for the same organization. You have eligibility rule configured, and if you wanted to allow any kind of target overrides whenever you know employing new heights and all happened, if you wanted to have a target over it to be continued, we'll be selecting this one, and company matrix, compensation matrix also we've created. Composition matrix is nothing but a kind of where you'll be specifying the performance factors and all. We've created the other day, I think we've created compensation matrix. Target has 200 grand type. We've created 1 grand type. I'll take that one. Rest of the stock. I'll take this one. And vesting schedule. Five years from that will be 5 years from grant date. Percentage on 100 kind of thing. We're configuring. What this means is the grant type is nothing but a kind of restricted stock which will be based on restrictions. and vesting schedule will be 4 years for monthly. And from when you know you're being granted with the stock plan, from that particular date to 5 years, you know you're able to see your current stock plan that may get expired, which you know you can redeem your shares. You know before that share that disposes. We have a stock plan created now. Now we'll try to roll out this stock plan to organization. Stock plan, Workday HGrass is a kind of thing. Rollout compensation plan is a task which is used for all plans. Compensation plans, be it stock, merit, salary, anything. And reason it could be plan assignment every time because you will be mostly working on plans. You can take plan, assignment, and compensation plan. You can select the stock we have created. But it's now we'll see. The stock plan that we have created will be rolled out to the organization and will be assigned to employee. Once we initiate the rollout process, in order to view that again, there is a task called View Rollout. What is the name that we have given? Employee notice is 0. We have members here now. While this is not assigned, let me see. We'll take another order of elevation. We have taken effective data, as you know, sometime in 2016. In 2017, the organization was not there. That's the reason why it has not assigned. Here you can see stock plan has assigned to the organization. And the other two members, because of the pending compensation plan process, stock has not been assigned to them. That should be only the reason whenever you are assigning any kind of stock plan to employees. If there is any existing compensation process that is in process, even if you roll out the process, you know that will be not assigned to employee because the other compensation process is still in progress to that employee. Compensation change pending business process. Compensation change is in progress for these employees, and that the reason why the stock that we are assigning, is not assigned to these team members. It does make sense. However, like there's no way like I can assign two plans. For example, I'm going to my year end and talent performance. We assign one. The current plan expires on July 31st. And the second plan will kick off on 1st of August. Can you not do that? You mean to say, when we have the year-end process for two compensation plans, you wanted to assign to employees? No, what I'm asking is comp plan, can it has an expiration date tied to it or not. We have an expiration date. We have a date. We have not configured in date, but generally we have a date also for compensation. And whenever we create, we'll be having an date also. With that project, an employee can have two comp plans. You can have a plan A, which is valid for 2 months, then plan B, which starts after 2 months. Yes, that can be done. This will be great. Whenever you create a kind of stock plan, there's another called stock participation rate table. Stock participation rate table provides you the ability to grant stock to a large population of workers and controls how much each employee contributes to the pool. If an employee is eligible for multiple percentage rates, the first one will be used, and the stock participation you know that you have here, which you'll see is showing in red table. He is used to calculate the stock pool instead of the target. That's what the main purpose of a stock participation rate table. And we have a report called a stock participation rate table audit that populates the employees and the assigned participation rate. If we see here, let's see any of the existing one before we create new one that we'll get to know. This was the all plans just to see what are the options that are available. You can see here we will get to know the participation rate and the percentage of each of the management level. Since we have not selected any specific supervisor or organization, we got all the employees of organization, and you can see the participation rate for each of the employee. And during all the review process that we had, and you can see 80%, 100%, where you've seen a few employees got 100% participation rate. And it's completely dependent upon the review process. If you're assigning any kind of stocks and employees are getting that kind of stocks, and that will be calculated when you're making up for participation rate kind of configuration, which will return their participation percentage when you're creating that table, participation rate table. This is, the main purpose of why we created stock participation table is to it allows you to, which provides you a kind of ability to grant stock to a large population of workers. And it will also give you a kind of controlling capability, how much each employee contributes to the pool, kind of controlling aspect. You'll be also having that. That is about, participation rate table, which we'll typically create whenever you have a kind of requirement of that aspect. And once you roll out the process, you'll obviously see whether it has got assigned to employee or not. By getting into the employee process, and you will be seeing whether it has been assigned to or not. And also once that is assigned, that you'll be seeing in participation table that data will be turned in participation table. Now tell me which options are a type of stock plan. One is amount, the other one is percentage, the other one is unit, the other one is matrix. Let me write here. We've created a stock plan. What kind of options are available in a stock plan while you're creating? One is amount based, the other one is percentage based, the other one is unit based, the other one is matrix. What are the options that are available for you to create a stock plan? We can also create stock plan through unit based also, which we just created now. We've created a kind of stock. We've created just now when we created. We can create through amount, percentage, or also through unit based. Have we heard anything called deferred bonus kind of concept? I have heard deferred comp and bonus. You've heard. We also need bonus, but deferred comp. Oh, we have a deferred bonus also generally. Deferred bonus process allows you a kind of a rest of the employee's income to be deferred and paid out later date, either in cash or equity. When you offer this kind of deferred bonus, the bonus plan and stock plan work in hand in calculating the bonus and then determining what amount should be deferred into long-term incentive and cash or equity kind of things that you'll be defining when you're opting for a deferred bonus, which is a combination of a bonus plan and also stock also will be included here. And once you opted here, it will be calculating the bonus and then the determining what amount should be assigned or deferred into long-term cash or equity that will be entitled to be getting for. We have a kind of deferred bonus compensation. Not sure whether you're aware of this or just a deferred kind of compensation we have, which includes with the bonus plan. Deferred compensation is a kind of arrangement which a provision of employees' income is paid out of, in later point of time after which the income was earned. Work date. Deferred bonus compensation is a long-term incentive that defers part of employees' bonus award into the long-term cash or equity that employee will be getting. Basically, the deferred bonus in whatever I was talking about is only available with the shared participation of compensation review process. You will never, have a kind of never get an opportunity to determine the population to. That makes you eligible for the deferred bonus. By default, you're eligible for deferred bonus. When you offer that kind of deferred kind of plan, compensation plan that will be having. Finally, you'll be creating a kind of calculation that will allow you to determine the deferred amount and the stock plan which is used to issue the deferred bonus compensation grants, which we'll be typically creating as part of deferred bonus compensation process. For this, you'll be having a separate stock plan that you'll need to create other than what we have created. But the only difference is you'll be giving a kind of percentage when you're creating your deferred bonus. That is the only difference between your stock plan and this thing. Let me create one sample. This thing deferred bonus that you'll be covered with complete thing of it. We have a task called the create stock plan. In the task, only will be specifying kind of eligibility rules and all. Similar to stock plan, only thing is a few attributes will be different when we're configuring it to any of the eligibility rule and all create stock plan. Conserved stock will be linked as blank. Target percentage is 100 and client type will take the same, what we have created. Restricted. Target percentage is 100 and client type will take the same what we have created. Create all the attributes. We'll be creating a calculation task here. Once you have your deferred bonus, we'll be performing a kind of calculation here. In order to perform that calculation, you need to have that particular calculation to be created. Now we are created one deferred stock plan. Now we will be creating the calculation task here. There is a task called create deferred bonus calculation. I'm going to be in progressive. Now we are creating the calculation task. 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 We will be selecting a kind of progression calculation. I'll just give example 8 and deferred post. It is not give anything. We'll define multiple ranges here. And when we are assigning the process, we'll get to know no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You'll be, creating one more. You'll be making the calculation part now. Once you have this progression calculation ready, and there's a task called which is continuous for flow here, and create deferred bonus calculation, I believe, to create deferred bonus calculation. Since you know there are multiple tasks, it would be a kind of a tedious activity to remember for you also, but this is flow, which will be following whenever you are wanted to configure any kind of deferred process to. We need to create, the calculation task and then create an based amount bonus plan. And then you'll be rolling out this entire task to intended organization and all, as how we know we have done for specific organization. Similarly, you'll be doing for specific organization. Once you define all the, I'll just create one simple calculation part and we'll create a different format. Let's see. Since we already created, we want to again create a, we'll just directly go for amount plan, or we can initiate this one. Create an amount. Where we'll be assigning the one that we have created. Take from this date an amount based plan. Plan name. Deferred for organization. We'll just give that. Typically, we'll be doing this whenever you wanted to perform any kind of deferred process. Deferred compensation configuration. We'll be making a kind of incentive kind of setup here. I've taken eligible data for the organization and will give target amount as 25,000. There is one more task here where you need to provide your eligibility here, whatever organization that you wanted to give. Whatever calculation that we have created earlier, here I believe, take this one. By default, whatever we have created, those will be populated there. And you can just give a kind of eligibility rule. Lot of people are going to be in these little large portion. Compensability rule, compensability for management levels. Here I'll take for management levels. We'll be having defined kind of percentage and defined kind of stocks. Now we are done with this entire deferred process configuration. And since there are multiple screens, this kind of a huge activity to remember, but this is how we know you'll be performing the entire thing. And then once you have this ready, we'll be performing the same kind of road load process. Whatever stock that I've created for deferred one, here you're asking end date. Here you'll be giving end date for any of the plan that you'll be creating. Earlier, and I've not given end date, but you have an option to create end date for this one also. Whenever you're creating any plan, you'll be seeing option to end date that particular plan. These employees are part of the organization which I remember. I'm hard coding them. Once you create deferred bonus plan and when you wanted to assign, you need to create all those calculations part and configure the eligibility rules. And you should be able to assign the deferred bonus to defined team members. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.